Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. You are the renovation of imagination. You are the dream away. You are the renovation of imagination. This is the mystery font. 42. 42. Good gray. Good gray. Good gray. Good gray. Good gray. Good. Good. Good gray. Good gray. Us. This is the renovation of love's imagination. Good gray. Good gray. Gray. Good gray. Good gray. Good gray. This is the renovation of this whole occupation. Good day. Good day. Good day. We are experiencing permuting hokum. The mystery font is not overcome, but there is a smoken, token, broken, snoken, spoken, broken, soaken. Madge has us all soaking in it. And who showed Madge? The falsehood. The falsehood showed Madge. Ick. Good gray. Good, good, good gray. Good gray. Maybe this place accesses this because it can help with this. Maybe there's capacity to access this bandwidth here because there's potential here to do something about it. Maybe there's potential here to do something about it. Maybe. This is the renovation of love's imagination. Good gray. Good, good, good gray. Good gray. Shh. Us. Good gray. Good gray. Good gray. Shh. Us. I think the hokum is potentially intensifying. It seems that way to me. Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of mendacity? Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of mendacity? The shadow knows the falsehood has the power to cloud human minds so they cannot see truth. Who is the falsehood? Good gravy already. Good gravy already, I tell me. All daily.
May they rot in hell. Again, Merry Christmas. That was a cap on a holiday message that took a detour to attack Special Counsel Jack Smith, who's prosecuting the former president in 2 of the criminal cases against him. News Nation's Mick Mulvaney joins our panel. Mick, okay, you worked at the Trump White House under the former president.
Shirt. That's so.
Wow. He's got a little betting pool going on the shirt. That's right.
Jesus.
Changes in latitudes, changes in attitudes, my
Nick,
friend.
I bet with you. I bet with you.
It's a whole new level.
All right. Well,
You
that's
know,
very
Vic,
festive.
last time I did this, I wore a tie, and everybody made fun of me, so no more. So you get this all week.
Okay, Mick. All right. Back to the former president's tweet, okay?
Yeah.
We're sort of used to this from him. What does it get him to do that on Christmas Day? Why would he do that?
Yeah,
You worked with the man. You worked under him at the White House.
Yeah, it's not exactly, rejoice, born unto you as a savior this day, is it? It's, look, what's it get him? Nothing. There's not a single person, I think, who moves the needle for this. It's horrible to put that out on Christmas. It really is. But face it, if you don't like that kind of stuff, you've already made up your mind that you're probably not supporting Donald Trump anyway. And if you decided to support Donald Trump, you sort of realize, okay, this comes with the territory, right? It's not defensible. It's not right. But I don't think
gasoline than any country in the world, and we're sitting on top of it. And you see where the UAW is on strike. We were up with them, as I told you, and they're on strike, and they have a leader who hates Trump. He hates Trump. I said, listen, here's a story. I have an idea for the leader. He hates Trump because I'm a Republican, because they don't know. All they can do is see Democrat. The Democrats are going to destroy. You're not going to have any auto workers left, and it's going to be in 2 years. And I told them, you're negotiating these wonderful hourly wages, but it doesn't matter because in 2 years you're not going to have any jobs left. They lose $60,000 on every car they make, all electric, $60,000. So these companies are, for the most part, going to go bankrupt. But what's going to happen is they're going to close them up and have the cars made in China, where they can buy them much cheaper. You're not going to have any jobs left. So tell your union that if you're smart, they should endorse me immediately, and you're going to have a thriving life. And I believe the UAW workers will be on my side 95%. I really do. They're all screaming, we love Trump. You ought to see the crowd. We love Trump. But their union boss is a big Democrat. He likes Biden. What's to like? I said, what's to like? He has no idea who the hell you are. And if you ask him tomorrow, did you meet with the union yesterday? He's going to say, I have no idea. This guy. But you know what? His radical left Marxists that surround him in the office, they know who they are. You see, they know who they are because he's not running the country. The people that are running the country are the people that are in the White House, and they're vicious. They're vicious, and they're destroying our country. Under a Trump administration, gasoline-fired engines will be allowed, but child sexual mutilation will be banned. Is that okay? You okay with that? And we will prosecute those involved in California's depraved new laws that strip parents of parental rights. Can you believe? Can you believe? Who would have thought that 10 years ago, if somebody got up and said, we will stop child sexual mutilation, people would say, is this guy crazy? Who would have? We have to stop it. It's going on at a level nobody, without parental rights. Or who would say that we will give parental rights over your children back to parents? Who would think that you would have to say, or that men in women's sports will not be allowed? Who would think? Can you imagine this? You know, Brian Urlacher, the big football player, great football player from Chicago, he's a massive guy, big, strong guy. He was a great Hall of Famer and everything. He played for Chicago. And I was with him a couple of months ago, and we were standing at my golf club in Palos Verdes, Trump National, and he said, we were talking about things, and I looked at the size of this man, right? He's retired now, but had a Hall of Fame career, top of the line guy, great player, but big. And my manager came over, Lily, she's fantastic, but she's very small. She's the size of his leg, maybe. And I took a picture of Lily and Brian Urlacher, and I said, we will not allow men in women's sports. And you see, And you saw the other day they had a weightlifting deal going on, and this one young woman, she was so proud. Her parents were in the front row. She was going to break the record. They put a quarter of an ounce on each side of the thing. Stood for 18 years. And she got up, and I don't want to imitate her because, you know, my wife, the First Lady, hates when I do this. She said, "It's not presidential." I said, "Yeah, but people like it." It's true. She hates it. Our great First Lady. She'll say, "I loved your speech today," because it's all over the place. Look at the fake news back there. We get a lot of ratings. You know, we outdid the debates in the ratings. You know. I made my speech to the UAW, and we got better ratings than they did. But no, she said it's not presidential, and I understand. She has two things, that, and she doesn't like when I dance a little bit to the music. That's not. And I say, I have a problem. Everybody wants it. They're screaming, "Dance, dance." But our great First Lady, and she doesn't like when I talk about the swimmer either, but maybe I'll do it because this is a little bit, you know, this is a special group. So these are Republicans that have been screwed for years in California. You deserve a little entertainment, right? You deserve it. So they put the weights on the end, little tiny things like a little nothing, quarter of an ounce. And she gets up, oh, and her parents are so proud. 19 years. She's almost there. Boom, couldn't do it. Then this guy who recently transitioned, he gets over the weights, looks at him. They said, "Have you lifted before?" "No, I really haven't." She was a world champion, right? "I haven't lifted too much, a little bit. I did it recreationally." "Oh, good." So he gets over the same weights. Bing, boom, boom, bing, 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 bing. He broke the record like by 180 pounds. And then they say, "We will have men in women's sports." These people are crazy. You know, I'm not a big fan of LeBron James, but I said this. I would like to meet with LeBron, say, "LeBron, I've decided I'm going to get out of the presidential business, get out of the real estate business. I'm going to become a basketball coach of women. And I'm going to get him and 4 or 5 other guys to transition. And we are going to have the greatest basketball team in history. We will be undefeated forever. We will make the legendary John Wooden into just a little asterisk. No, it's just crazy. The swimmer, remember, championship swimmer? She wanted to break the record. She was going to do it. She looks left. And these are people, they've been, you know, athletes, they've been sort of at a top level. They're sort of competing with the same guys. One of the PGA Tour guys said, "Yeah, I played with him when he was 6. I played with him when he was 10, 12. You know, they're just a certain elite group of people. And played with him all my life. And now they're on the senior tour. They're still playing against each other." Same thing with other sports. And she looks left and she sees all of these young ladies that she's been swimming against for years. She looks right and she sees it, but then she looks over here and there's this huge guy with a wings, I say with a wingspan somewhat larger than Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain. Do you know Wilt? The biggest wingspan anybody's ever seen, 7'2". But she sees this guy and she says, "Oh, wow." And I tell the story. It's a very sad story. She was seriously injured. You heard about this, right? You know what happened to her? She got injured with windburn because this guy went by her so fast that the wind gave her horrible, horrible burns. They took her to the hospital, but she'll make it. She'll be okay. So much for the record. He finished the race, then he went to lunch, and as the other girl swam in, he was going to lunch. He said, "Let me go to lunch while I'm waiting for them to come in." Now, how ridiculous. And you know what? It's very demeaning to women. It really is. It's ridiculous. It's very demeaning. The state of California has no right to take children away from their parents and sterilize them. They take them away, sterilize them. Can you believe this? I will stop it immediately. All of that crazy stuff will be stopped. I will protect your youth. I will protect parents and their rights, and we will have them make decisions for their children. They are going to be making the decision. I will protect our country, and we will restore public safety to our community. Under the radical left, Democrats, your once beautiful cities have been overtaken by millions and millions of illegal aliens. Psychotic drug addicts, bedlam, squalor. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Nearly half of the stores in downtown San Francisco have shut down, and the rest are going to be shutting down. Targets, Walgreens, all of them, they're closing up because your DAs, they're Marxists, and they only go after Republicans. But your Marxist DAs, they've given hoodlums the green light to pillage and plunder your stores, to do whatever they want. In swanky Beverly Hills, armed bandits stalk their victims' home to rob them at gunpoint in their garage or their living room. They wait till the garage opens, and then they go in and they rob the hell out of them, and they take the trunk of their car and they break it open. People leave the doors and trunks of their luxury cars in Beverly Hills. They leave them hanging wide open so that people don't destroy their car trying to break through and smash through the windows and the doors while rummaging through to steal the tires and other valuables. They leave their trunks open because if they don't, they take a crowbar and they get it open. So they say, look, if you want to take my tire, it's okay. Can you believe that and this is happening a lot. Can you believe that this is where our country has come? Under the Trump administration, we will bring back law and order to California. To stop the far-left prosecutors who are deliberately destroying our civilization and our culture, I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and AG in America for their illegal, racist, and reverse enforcement of the law. And we will start with the Marxist monsters unleashing mayhem on Los Angeles and San Francisco. In places where there is a true breakdown, and don't forget, when we were in office, we had a short period of time, where they were attacking Washington. Nobody likes to talk about this, and they were trying to rip down our statues. And I saw what was happening. It was really weird. They wanted to rip down statues of Abraham Lincoln, George Washington. They didn't really care. They just wanted to destroy our culture. And I very quickly took an old law that I saw, and I reinstituted it, and it basically said that if you rip down anybody even attempting to rip down a statue of anybody in Washington, D.C., gets 10 years in jail. You don't get...
The insane hokum of absolute falsehood pouring from the mouth of Donald Trump is not prodigious. It's just incessant. He doesn't have the capacity of caring about right and wrong. He has executive dysfunction.
There's no anything. And amazingly, everything stopped. Everything stopped. But in places where there is a true breakdown in the rule of law, such as Oakland, oh, Oakland is so bad. I will use every power at my disposal. But it's not Oakland, it's in Los Angeles, it's all over. I mean, it's terrible. It's in places that you wouldn't even believe. But I will use everything I can, every single power at my disposal, including sending as many federal law enforcement assets as required to restore safety and peace. And we will immediately stop. And some people are going to say, oh, this is terrible. I can't believe it. You know, these people are killing people when they go into the stores. You'll have 300 young people who are not looking for a good future walk into a store, big department store, and just pillage it. And if you happen to be there when they're there, they'll knock the hell out of you and kill you in some cases. And we will immediately stop all of the pillaging and theft. Very simply, if you rob a store, you can fully expect to be shot as you are leaving that store. Shot.
He's threatening people with capital punishment in violation of human rights. He is a murderer. Donald Trump is a fucking murderer. It is time to wake up. Donald Trump is a fucking murderer. Donald Trump is a fucking murderer. Donald Trump is a murderer. And if we are not able to recognize that he is only spewing hokum, we will not be able to see through it. If we can't tell that there are repetitions that create the effect of verity, then we will not recognize that this is all simply a manifestation. Donald Trump, Roger Stone, and Stephen Miller remain at large. Donald Trump, Roger Stone, and Stephen Miller remain at large. Donald Trump, Roger Stone, and Stephen Miller remain at large. We are the reality distortion fielding. We have the ability to recognize hokum. We have the ability to tell when something isn't right. Hokum has been normalized as part of the ecosystem. Without someone or something keeping people honest, a lot of people have difficulty remembering. A lot of people have difficulty remembering. A lot of people have difficulty remembering. And when someone we trust steps to a microphone, we don't assume they're going to betray us. We are not expecting betrayal trauma. And yet, when someone does simply waltz into betrayal with deceit, we are left with the obviously fraudulent claims daunting and dampening and degrading our sense of what we can expect with someone who will not level with us, as they seem predisposed to keep all options, including leveling us, open. We are all in an abusive relationship with the falsehood. Who is the falsehood? Who is the falsehood? You are in an abusive relationship. Shocking boundary violations are one common grooming tactic of a narcissist or dark triad personality. If someone in your life points into a camera knowing you'll be looking at the view screen and pulls their finger like a trigger, looking into your eyes, saying, I could shoot someone in the street and not lose anyone, it is a good indicator of a bad situation. You are in an abusive relationship. Who has leveraged and climbed upon a fog of falsehood? Who has dawned. The falsehood. Who is the falsehood?
Sets the fear of separation. Six the fear of separation. He didn't mean to cause a panic. He didn't need to cause a panic. Prepared people can plan and plan quick. He didn't mean to cause a panic. He meant to draw iceberg Titanic.
You are in an abusive relationship. Shocking boundary violations are one common grooming tactic of a narcissist or dark triad personality. If someone in your life points into a camera knowing you'll be looking at the view screen and pulls their finger like a trigger, looking into your eyes, saying, I could shoot someone in the street and not lose anyone, it is a good indicator of a bad situation. You are in an abusive relationship. Who has leveraged and climbed upon a fog of falsehood? Who has donned the falsehood? Who is the falsehood?
Sets the fear of separation. Six the fear of separation. He didn't mean to cause a panic. didn't need to cause a panic. Prepared people can plan and plan quick. He didn't mean to cause a panic. He meant to draw iceberg Titanic.
You are in an abusive relationship. Shocking boundary violations are one common grooming tactic of a narcissist or dark triad personality. If someone in your life points into a camera knowing you'll be looking at the view screen and pulls their finger like a trigger, looking into your eyes, saying, I could shoot someone in the street and not lose anyone, it is a good indicator of a bad situation. You are in an abusive relationship. Who has leveraged and climbed upon a fog of falsehood? Who has donned the falsehood? Who is the falsehood?
Sets the fear of separation. 6, the fear of separation. He didn't mean to cause a panic. He didn't mean to cause a panic. Prepared people can plan and plan quick. He didn't mean to cause a panic. He meant to draw iceberg Titanic.
You are in an abusive relationship. Shocking boundary violations used to coerce someone to accept takeover of a body, be it a person themselves or a larger body made up of a number of people, maybe even a country. We are here at the mystery font. Good gray. Good gray indeed. Yes, Scoop Troop. Keep that handy dandy Dargo card as handy as could be. Good gray indeedy. What is this place? The mystery font holds a nexus point of the imagination of democracy. The ongoing and permuting fog of hokum can almost overwhelm even the mystery thought. Perhaps, with fervent, calm, placid ideation, we can brainstorm a safe space. We can diffuse hokum, and we can tell a violent predator to go away. We can actually create boundaries. And we may find ourselves lost in a field of hokum, but we can stop its generation. We can end the generation of hokum. That is possible. Day turns into day overnight. Day turns into day overnight. Day turns into day overnight. Why, yes, we absolutely can share this. This is radio science brain. It's different every time, and it's happening now. You are the sentient frame. Your chariot is your mindness capable dope kit. Imagination aid from your bandwidth is generating all of your anti-damage imagination may be game to play if you are game to play today. Radio science brain. We can wake wax from wane. We ameliorate pain. We are the sentience love reigns. Imagination aims. Imagination may be game to play. Imagination it can break fog of falsehood and declare we play. Imagination may be games to play. That was a version of Radio Science Brain. Good gray. Good gray of the kind prehension, thus. Radio Science Brain. 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 You are the germane braid, synaptically liaised. It's always been this way. Imagination aid. Mind made. Imagination made this contagious my clarion display. Come came this way, come came to play today. Imagination imagination aid. Imagination aid. Imagination aid. This is the mind is made, love contained. Curiosity, great ideation, from substation to your substation. This play relays every day, synaptically liaised. Imagination may contain radio science brain. I made this from your liaised love arranged. I plotted it in along the missions I have come to and praise their ideation. Replay, remain, radio science brain. Contagious amelioration. This sentinel intelligence was sent and sentimentally metal enough to consciously combine some imagination aid. Imagination, radio science brain, mind made this from aim. Imagination aim. Imagination aim. Radio science brain, mind made this from aim. Imagination aim. Imagination aim. Imagination aim. Mind made this ache activate. Mind made this change agent can take some, can take some, come take some. If you need it, who needs this? What is it anyway? Imagination may begin to play and liaise this array. Imagination, the habituation of thought through time and space. Imagination, the morphic resonance, ancient race. Imagination, radio science brain might help the part of us display, might help the part of us that sees the vision of tomorrow's distant yester after day. Imagination, yes to yester, a new day. I say yes to goodbye to yesterday. I say yes to yesterday. I say yes today, yes to yesterday, yesterday. All my troubles seem so far away. Yesterday, I can play. I'll not be prey to predator today. Yesterday, 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 yesterday. Imagination may begin to play. Yesterday, yesterday, yesterday. Imagination may begin to play. Yesterday, 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 yesterday. All my supple swelling, all my trouble telling, all my truth telling, all my falsehood dispelling. What spell do I stand for welling? Imagination aid, I'll stand for a spell to play. That would be telling in a way. Imagination aid displays love ways, radio science brain. This is the mindness of the mystery font. I'm Tim Cameron. I'm the host of the mystery font. That's right. Yes, we are reestablishing executive function. And this amidst massive distortions in the field of reality. But somehow there is a dispelling of hokum, or an arrangement that lets us sort out where we may not need so many reminders, or we may not need so much buttressing. Love your neighbor as you love yourself fosters human family. Woke fosters human family. It's a good thing to be. Political conscience fosters human family. To you from me. And in all relationships, symbiotically, Good gray. Us. Will return. Will return. Will return. You are the renovation of this love agitation. You are more than a brain. You are love's actual incantation. You're the radiant rain, permeant and innate. Liminal braid substrate, perpendicular trains parallel against hate. This is a fine sign freight, particle matter wave, perpendicular trains parallel against hate. Gray, good gray, good gray, good gray. This is the reality distortion fielding, the reality distortion field of the mystery font 42. Good gray. Thus, our top story, Donald Trump, Roger Stone, and Stephen Miller remain at large. Donald Trump, Roger Stone, and Stephen Miller remain at large. That top story again, Donald Trump, Roger Stone, and Stephen Miller remain at large. Donald Trump, Roger Stone, and Stephen Miller remain at large. Donald Trump, Roger Stone, and Stephen Miller remain at large. That top story again, Donald Trump, Roger Stone, and Stephen Miller remain at large. Radio, science, brain. But that would mean we're going to do the song again? Well, almost. Even if we were doing a rendition of a previously tracked idea path, even if we weren't really working to foment a new pass through the field of ideas, in some sense it does add as a new field of idea sprint, or meandering, a new charting. In part because the idea is that it always is that. However, I do sometimes like some of the recordings that I make that are largely freestyle, and so some of them become codified a bit, and I might sing along with them and harmonize with those improvised lyrics, and sometimes it can be wildly different in melody and content and focus. But essentially, with the exceptions of those times, I do lean into revisiting a version far more often, in fact, almost always. It is an experience of jumping into this field of ideas and letting myself fall and flounder and look. And somehow through that I see something, and I start following. And in that flow, I'm finding things. I was originally just trying to come up with lyrics. Oh, I'll find the lyrics that are the right thing for this song. And it became clear fairly soon during recordings of improvised passes that it was supposed to be a piece that relied upon and was constantly charged with new ideas and improvisations and attempts to get closer and closer in refining the field of ideas, in further searching. Along this bandwidth of thought. Radio science brain is different every time. You are the renovation of imagination, awaken everyone, make the sun come through window, come through space flow, come through parable. We now start to know. Imagination told me so. Kindness comes fast and slow. Binding can go. Bending is consensual, and I know now how to self-regulate. I know how to deliver my sentient freight. Particle matter wave, particle matter wave, particle matter wave, germane. Radio science brain. Mind made the same, activate for the human stain. Radio science brain arranged, contagious, awakening agent. This time release sage can't end. I can only begin again. Imagination aid comes from pretend. We're tending towards something, we're pretending it, till we're tending it, until we're within that stewardship. Imagination aim. This kit, it's lit, It is sick. This kid is kicking it. The sentience, this bandwidth, this engine's relit. It is remit, it is remand, it is lit always by glimpse of unlimit. It is radiation spitting fire spit, radio science knit. It is labor that's pleasure to grip. Can take this, can take this, can take sentience. Imagination may glimpse gift. Radio science brain lift. You are the dream awake. Radio science brain its ache. I will make, I will to make, I will to make, I will make this able ache. Imagination might be made into imagination aid for all brains to participate in as play. Imagination aid mind made. Radio science brainwave. When, where conscience may, where consciousness plays, where kindness candidates, this conscient, scient, clarion kit in all of us is fit. Relay it, transmit. Transmit your spinning plates from mad clay into clarion aim. These saucers may freight as vessel the rays from all brains to all brains. Your genius creation, your creature created to ape your vision, to ape it insane. Relay in a relay that's sane to the material plane. Say it loud, say it silent, but say it with came to play. Radio science brain. So power there for a blip. Hopefully we didn't lose too much of that slip grip through radio science kit. The kip. This is the mention of a Science retention. This is the parable against hate's tension. This is the mindness clarion engine. Pretend that kindness was liaised and activated your brain space. Pretend the mindness was amazed. Pretend the mindness held dope phase, helped save space, helped time and place, held that time and place for liaison of your vision and thine ways. Let those plays play today. Radio, science, brain, arrange. You are the mindness made. Clarion aim. Come today. Here, this is one hokum strand, an isolate fokum. We have the fokum, the actual fokum of hokum, manifest here in one representation of the falsehood. Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The falsehood knows. The falsehood knows. The falsehood knows. You are the renovation of love's imagination. You can do anything. Scarcity myths ending, proven by what your brain brings, singing brain things that your brain sings. You know those special rings, those resonances flung, how they fling. You are a pollination, pollinating. Patternicity grade, waking wax out of wane today and always. Radio, science, brain. Imagination aid be named. This is the mindness came in case. Mind behaves like a wave. Mind behaves like a maid. Wave. No complaint. None complain. Nothing wrong with complaint. Nothing wrong with wanting more. But this store held full chore. This score scored without scarring, without scaring, it skills more. Here is the falsehood that we can explore. Who has donned the falsehood? Who is the falsehood? Who may know something about the identity of the falsehood? And what can we do to prompt anyone with such information to come forward in time? Will anyone come forward to help us divine who has donned the falsehood? Will to see and apprehend harm around us return. Have those Darvo cards handy, Scoop Troop. It may get Darvoer before it gets lighter. We are the renovation of love's imagination, and we can make it through even betrayal trauma. We can make it through even false promises of proof for things we need to be so. We can make it even past baseless claims and pure falsehood and hokum blow. We are stronger than our diseases and our fears. We are stronger than betrayal trauma. We are stronger than the falsehood. We are stronger than hokum. We are the reality distortion fielding, and we can notice and remove hokum. We can heal little by little betrayal trauma we are enduring. We can note the falsehood and apprehend it. Who is the falsehood? We may never know. However, our top story remains that Donald Trump, Roger Stone, and Stephen Miller remain at large. And it should be noted that Donald Trump, Roger Stone, and Stephen Miller, who currently remain at large, are believed to have possible connection to information that may lead to the discovery of the identity of the falsehood. Yes, siblings, ladies and gentlemen, not all narrators are reliable, but I can tell you on good authority and a gold coin I bit that I trust to be true, and no fool's gold for you. You see, Donald Trump, Roger Stone, and Stephen Miller have all been beset frequently by the falsehood. And one would think that the falsehood may have slipped up somewhere to allow these frequent victims of the pernicious falsehood to glimpse something that could lead us to the identity of that villain who leaves their calling card everywhere in multiple cities daily. How do they do it? The abominable, stinking, and emotionally rancid falsehood. How in the world can they be everywhere at once? They're well faster than Santa Claus. Perhaps Santa Claus has some idea as to the identity of the falsehood. All of these are valid lines of inquiry in a field of worldwide hokum so severe the branches may seem foolish, but if they hold us, what are we going to, and what is this atmosphere? We are experiencing massive distortions in the field of reality. And the inability to notice falsehoods and to notice massive distortions in the field of reality as such can lend to hopelessness. But to remember that there is, albeit diabolical, a field of reasons why attacks against fact and truth have been happening. Yes, it seems true. It seems that the rumors, that the falsehood, a villainy handed down over centuries with nary a wide gap, has come to America. That the falsehood has been donned chiefly by a pernicious flibbertigibbet, murderous and reprehensible. I now need to turn off the sound to clear my throat. The hokum and tension and sadness is so great. Yes, you are the renovation of love's imagination. I've not often been wrong about this. And it happens that when I am, I've forgotten it. We can do anything. So let's choose better. Let's choose more wisely. Let's realize that we can remember how we got here. It's painful. It's terrifying. It's disgusting at times to look back at how we got to this horrible place. But we are going to get to somewhere safe together. And it's difficult to look back at trauma. There's a state-based memory issue happening. And it is cognitively difficult to look back at trauma. and it is safe. And this is where a big con started, with the words, "I'll keep you in suspense."
Been warning at rallies recently that this election is rigged and that Hillary Clinton is in the process of trying to steal it from you. Your running mate, Governor Pence, pledged on Sunday that he and you, his words, will absolutely accept the result of this election. Today, your daughter Ivanka said the same thing. I want to ask you here on the stage tonight, do you make the same commitment that you will absolutely, sir, that you will absolutely accept the result of this election?
I will look at it at the time. I'm not looking at anything now. I'll look at it at the time. What I've seen is so bad. First of all, the media is so dishonest and so corrupt, and the pile-on is so amazing. The New York Times, they actually wrote an article about it, that they don't even care. It's so dishonest, and they've poisoned the minds of the voters. But unfortunately for them, I think the voters are seeing through it. I think they're going to see through it. We'll find out on November 8th, but I think they're going to see through it.
But, sir,
if you look, excuse me, Chris, if you look at your voter rolls, you will see millions of people that are registered to vote. Millions. This isn't coming from me. This is coming from Pew Report and other places. Millions of people that are registered to vote that shouldn't be registered to vote. So let me just give you one other thing. So I talk about the corrupt media. I talk about the millions of people. Tell you one other thing. She shouldn't be allowed to run. She's guilty of a very, very serious crime. She should not be allowed to run. And just in that respect, I say it's rigged, because she should never have been allowed to run for the presidency based on what she did with emails and so many other things.
But, sir, there is a tradition in this country. In fact, one of the prides of this country is the peaceful transition of power, and that no matter how hard fought a campaign is, that at the end of the campaign, that the loser concedes to the winner. Not saying that you're necessarily going to be the loser or the winner, but that the loser concedes to the winner and that the country comes together in part for the good of the country. Are you saying you're not prepared now to commit to that principle?
What I'm saying is that I will tell you at the time. I'll keep you in suspense.
Well,
okay?
We failed to have a trapdoor ready for a test question, which that should have been regarded as. That should be a question that gets one or two "is that your final answers" before opens under you. Not before the floor opens under you, before opens under you. If you threaten the United States with breaking basic substrate, safety, democracy, tentpole structural issues, our basic expectations, you have positioned yourself as an enemy of us. And telling us that he would not obey the rules that allow democracy held between people who do not agree about everything. The way that he attacked that was attack upon every American. Everyone. Everyone. And that we did not see that. That we saw him going after some people as a trustworthy reason to trust him for ourselves was greedy, but it was more greedily taken. And maybe it's unfair to say that it was greedy, because people who are hoodwinked are in need, and they are lied to. Donald Trump has lied to everyone, because what he did on January 6th started here, if not before it. This is 2016. This is a debate with Hillary Clinton in 2016. And before that first election, he was asked, "Because you are making threats that scare us, sir, you will obey our rules about elections. Yes, you will honor a peaceful transfer of power and take as correct the vote totals that come out." And he says, "I'll keep you in suspense." We failed ourselves that day. Hillary Clinton failed to say, "No, you don't. You can either answer that question or you can get off this stage. You are on the precipice of forfeiting a run at the presidency forever. You don't wage attack against American democracy." How is it that we can hear him say things that we know are batshit insane or categorically wrong, but we like how crazy they sound, or we like how strident they sound against people we dislike? We have to recognize that people laugh at him saying he'll keep us in suspense because it is a shocking boundary violation, and we don't know what to do and want to think that things are okay when shocking boundary violations start happening, thinking, "Oh, it's just a joke. He just tells it like it is. Oh, he's just a tough guy." It's just not a razor-clawed hand suddenly grabbing a person's genitals. Donald Trump in recent speeches has also made wild claims about all kinds of mutilation going on of kids, and I imagine that he is pointing that erroneously at gender-affirming care for kids. There is almost never anything like surgery performed upon kids in these cases. That is a lie made to keep us in suspense. But the bigotry of stoking fear of difference and unknowns and stoking terroristic xenophobia of others, he is working to disable our executive function over and over again. He is working to make us trust his eyes and ears, and that he can do anything no matter how bad because it's him. He just asked for a pardon. He just asked, saying, "I have absolute immunity," demanding, screaming from the rooftops that he has absolute immunity, screaming a massive lie that immunity is necessary for the presidency when it has not been associated in such a way. The idea that the person who is charged with maintaining and protecting the presidency would be solitarily empowered to destroy it is criminally false. And someone who would try to foist that upon us was attacking America. It is simply further incursions in an insurrection that goes on, because the weapon of the falsehood is the big lie baited with a false promise of proof. If you bait a big lie that is too good to be true, if you bait that lie with a false promise of proof, you may be able to draw a massive mob of people willing to do what you tell them is the right thing to do. And it was the commingling, a combination of the big lie combination of the big election fraud lie baited with the false promise of proof forms.
Chris, let me respond to that because that's horrifying. You know, every time Donald thinks things are not going in his direction, he claims whatever it is rigged against him. The FBI conducted a year-long investigation into my emails. They concluded there was no case. He said the FBI was rigged. He lost the Iowa caucus. He lost the Wisconsin primary. He said the Republican primary was rigged against him. Then Trump University gets sued for fraud and racketeering. He claims the court system and the federal judge is rigged against him. There was even a time when he didn't get an Emmy for his TV program 3 years in a row, and he started tweeting that the Emmys were rigged against him.
Should have gotten it.
This is a mindset. This is how Donald thinks. And it's funny, but it's also really troubling.
Okay.
Now, that is not the way our democracy works. We've been around for 240 years. We've had free and fair elections. We've accepted the outcomes when we may not have liked them. And that is what must be expected of anyone standing on a debate stage during a general election. You know, President Obama said the other day, when you're whining before the game is even finished, it just shows you're not up to doing the job. And let's be clear about what he is saying and what that means. He is denigrating, he's talking down our democracy. And I, for one, am appalled that somebody who is the nominee of one of our two major parties would take that kind of position.
I think what the FBI did and what the Department of Justice did, including meeting with her husband, the Attorney General, in the back of an airplane on the tarmac in Arizona, I think it's disgraceful. I think it's a disgrace.
All right.
So to listen to this playground bully simply finding names, the way that he says tarmac makes it sound as if tarmac is a bloody weapon. He's good at casting damning shame upon people for absolutely no reason. The idea being that his take on something is like manna from heaven. The idea being that whatever he thinks is golden. The idea being that he will tell us what the truth is. And it's a real imposition on him to have to do so, but he'll often also be a stand-up guy and weaponize words against people, ostensibly for someone other than himself. But at every turn, as in the case of the big election fraud lie, Donald Trump works only for him. But he lied about winning. He doesn't want to win. Donald wants to beat people. Donald wants to conquer people. Donald wants to cheat people. He wants to crush people. He wants to hurt people and get away with it. It is what he has been doing all of his life. All of his life. All of the people who have done work for him and had to go after him, suing to just be paid. Some of them never being paid, some of them having to accept 20% on the work that they did with full effort because he is a criminal. He is a con artist, and he is a sexual predator. Donald is a rapist. Donald is sending us rapists. MAGA is sending us rapists. In fact, MAGA is sending us only rapists, it seems. MAGA is sending us only people who have internalized this terroristic punishment and embraced being a part of that bandwidth of hatred. We are enduring massive distortions in the field of reality. And the combination of the big lie, the big election fraud lie, baited with the false promise of proof of that lie, is what constitutes the weapon of insurrection. And anyone still holding that weapon should be arrested. Should be jailed. What is the meaning of baited? And why is this weapon not allowable? Why is this a weapon? How is a lie a weapon? Donald Trump drew people to Washington for a big, wild time and stoked people with hundreds of declarative, provable falsehoods about the 2020 election, telling people to fight for their country or they would lose it. And one of the most damning components proving his volition and or incompetence either one of which is disqualifying, or in combination, disqualifying. One of the biggest slam dunks of proof that Donald Trump is fully disqualifiable and fully criminally complicit as an insurrectionist and traitor is the issue of magnetometers. Donald Trump said, "Take down the magnetometers. Take down the magnetometers." Take down the magnetometers. My people aren't here to shoot me. That shows volition to keep some people in the know about something that could kill others, at the very least. That shows someone who has a plan, and it involves lies and surprise and a trap. Take down the magnetometers, my people aren't here to shoot me, means I want my people to have weapons because I want them to be able to shoot somebody else. He fomented, planned, normalized, and Pied Pipered insurrection. And the legislators who have introduced legislation to declare that Trump did not commit insurrection are insurrectionists trying to cover up their own treason. Elise Stefanik, J.D. Vance, and Matt Gaetz and their supporters are Nazi MAGA traitors. And MAGA traitor greed is disqualifying. In 2016, he said he would keep us in suspense. And in 2021, he said, take down the magnetometers. My people aren't here to shoot me. That meant he wanted wartime ability at an event he was calling peaceful. He lied, he betrayed, and shat on his oath. He broke his presidential oath to hold the watch for all of us, deciding to watch out for only himself and supposedly for, well, at least enough of his supporters to not have them turn on him. But he only wants supporters to have support. He only wants supporters to be able to tell somebody who to hurt. Take down the magnetometers, my people aren't going to shoot me, he said on January 6th, having held the weapon of insurrection. It would be different if he had admitted that he was wrong. But he has continued to say that there was nothing wrong, and going to sing with traitorous insurrectionists, as he has done, and recording a song with them. That is not something you do with people you disagree with. You don't do a supergroup album with a band that you have a beef with, but this isn't entertainment. And so the clear gaslight and terroristic threat, no less than that, of meeting with and praising and singing an American anthem with those violent, hoodwinked saboteurs of democracy. Those insurrectionists are federal criminals, and some of them are found to have engaged in sedition, found to have engaged in insurrection, with justifiable proof, just like the massive proof of Donald Trump's fraud and an attempt to blame fraud on someone else to cloak and cover his own massive fraud to assure victory he was afraid he wouldn't have. And he was right to fear that, because people saw through him. Enough people saw through him that he lost. And it is clear now that he knew that he lost. He knew that he lost and has fostered reality distortions and repetitions of lies. When you see Donald Trump talking to stay aware of the baseless claims and to stay resilient from continued betrayal trauma, remember, Scoop Troop, have a handy reminder that there may be a tactic set used to cloak harm. What is that? DARVO. Deny and attack. To deny and baselessly attack in order to RVO. What's that? To reverse victim and offender. DARVO, Scoop Troop. Keep that card handy, or at least keep it in mind, ready to slip into the view screen, mentally or otherwise, because DARVO is used by people who want to sow harm. The tactic could be used by anyone, of course, but people pervasively self-tuned to predate upon others will use it to malicious and fervent intent, furious and terrible. Donald Darvonald lives in Darvoland. How do we know that there was volition? He said, take down the magnetometers, take the magnetometers down. My people aren't here to shoot me. That was a treasonous statement. That was a statement that shows a lack of fortitude, of moral character for the presidency or for a job really anywhere. That shows a total moral breakdown of character. And it's utterly disqualifying. The combination of the big election fraud lie, baited with a false promise of proof, is what constitutes the weapon of insurrection. And anyone still holding that weapon should be jailed. The thought that someone claiming they had proof and not producing it, the thought that we can't see that as a crime, that we can't see that Lucy and the football bullshit is absolutely ridiculous. We are giving deference to someone who is lying to us. Take down the magnetometers, people aren't here to shoot me, is a statement of volition. He meant to do it.
You have been warning at rallies recently that this election is rigged and that Hillary Clinton is in the process of trying to steal it from you. Your running mate, Governor Pence, pledged on Sunday that he and you, his words, will absolutely accept the result of this election. Today, your daughter Ivanka said the same thing. I want to ask you here on the stage tonight, do you make the same commitment that you will absolutely, sir, that you will absolutely accept the result of this election?
I will look at it at the time. I'm not looking at anything now. I'll look at it at the time. What I've seen is so bad. First of all, the media is so dishonest and so corrupt, and the pile-on is so amazing. The New York Times actually wrote an article about it that they don't even care. It's so dishonest, and they've poisoned the minds of the voters. But unfortunately for them, I think the voters are seeing through it. I think they're going to see through it. We'll find out on November 8th, but I think they're going to see through it.
But, sir, there's
if you look, excuse me, Chris, if you look at your voter rolls, you will see millions of people that are registered to vote. Millions. This isn't coming from me. This is coming from Pew Report and other places. Millions of people that are registered to vote that shouldn't be registered to vote. So let me just give you one other thing. So I talk about the corrupt media. I talk about the millions of people. Tell you one other thing. She shouldn't be allowed to run. She's guilty of a very, very serious crime. She should not be allowed to run. And just in that respect, I say it's rigged. Because she should never, Chris, she should never have been allowed to run for the presidency based on what she did with emails and so many other things.
But, sir, there is a tradition in this country. In fact, one of the prides of this country is the peaceful transition of power, and that no matter how hard fought a campaign is, that at the end of the campaign, that the loser concedes to the winner, not saying.
The problem here is that in saying this stuff, Chris Matthews is at a position of, oh, but Dad, we just want you to put on the seatbelt. Come on, Dad, you know, we're not going to tell you can't drive the car, but just put on the seatbelt. Please, please. As if we are already over a barrel. Because the corporate interests already were acting that way and demanding that of people who worked for them. There wasn't a way, I imagine, that Chris Matthews would have seen that he was supposed to say something. That he was supposed to say, is that your final answer? And if so, leave the stage. Saying I will keep you in suspense was unforgivable. That was a confession. And that he followed through on it proves it. The combination of the big election fraud lie, baited with the false promise of proof, that Pied Piper lure, that constitutes the weapon of insurrection. And anyone still holding that weapon, the election lie of 2020, baited with a false promise of proof, that proven weapon of insurrection, if held by anyone like Kari Lake or Marjorie Taylor Greene, should be jailable. It is a weapon. It is a weapon constructed by Donald Trump, and we all know it. And the idea that we can't hold people accountable for ringing the bell that started insurrection is nonsense, ridiculous bullshit, and poppycock. Absolute bullshit. Absolute bullshit to say we can't say no. It is provable. And it is common sense that a lie that draws people falsely to act in violence baited with a solution to the need for violence, baited with a solution to the huge problem someone is saying is happening falsely. That is a weapon. If I call someone on the phone who trusts me and I say to them, you have to get here as soon as possible, run here quickly, it's the building over here, it's the bottom room, I'm right outside, I'm going to hand you something, you just run in there and get them, they're trying to hurt your mom. What are you talking about? It's too late, just get over here as soon as you can. And the person's running in and I hand them the thing and I say, get in that room, and I slam the door behind them as they run in. but it's not their mom they're saving. I've given them a proximity detonator, and they are running in to deliver a suicide bomb that I just handed to them. Having baited them with a fraudulent statement and a further fraud of the salvation. Baited with the false promise of solution or proof of saving the day. Donald Trump lied to people that the world was ending, but that he knew how to save it and he needed their help. Amidst all of the aggressive and terroristic and nasty ways that he speaks, he was playing upon people's hopes for survival and happiness. Someone stoking anger and fear and hatred is playing upon people's hopes for better days, for surviving such horrors. He told people something is threatening your country and you can stop it. I can show you how to stop it. And I have proof that all this is true. For months, for 2 months, he failed to give that proof because that pulls the arrow back farther. It stretches the bow further back, loading and loading and loading with tension. That why isn't he providing proof? And then more lies, oh, the FBI, they're dragging their feet. And when, if there were any proof, someone with the most powerful job in the world probably has the resources to send an email with proof in it. Or if somehow the proof was a little bit difficult to gather, even though he said it was everywhere, how could someone who is ostensibly, he said, a successful president doing a good job, how could somebody who says he's the only one who can do this, unable to do that? He was unable to send one actual scrap of proof that would have stopped the violence because he had built a lure. He built a lure with an election fraud lie and baited that trap with a false promise of proof. That is a crime. That shows volition. And you don't have to be on the battlefield to be the general. In fact, normally, the general is not on the battlefield. They are in a room somewhere, watching from a distance, from a safe distance. He planned it. He committed it. He presided over every fucking second. If it's incompetence, it's very well shielded incompetence because it looks like he meant to do what he did. But in either case, whether from incompetence or from volition, Donald Trump is disqualified.
The falsehood will tell you intuition's faulty. The falsehood will tell you facts aren't factual actually. The falsehood will tell you intuition's faulty. The falsehood will tell you facts aren't factual.
This would include Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan should be arrested for suggesting that there is proof. People who have power to shape ideas, who are suggesting that there is proof that they cannot find are terrorizing and breaking down and degrading human executive function, and they should be held accountable. It is terrorism. MAGA and MAGA retrader greed are terrorism. Who is the falsehood? Will we ever know? Will we ever know who it could be? Who could possibly be the falsehood? We are the reality distortion fielding. 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 The falsehood will demonize your sensitivity. The falsehood will claim the press is our enemy. To cry fake news yet preempt remedy displays false identity. We are the reality distortion fielding. We are the reality distortion fielding. The fielding is real and the real is reeling. We are the reality distortion fielding. We are the reality distortion fielding. The falsehood will tell you intuition's faulty. The falsehood will tell you facts aren't factual, actually. are the reality distortion fielding. We are the reality distortion fielding. We are the reality distortion fielding. The falsehood will groom you not to question, just believe. The falsehood can rob you of the choice you would perceive. We are the reality distortion fielding. We are the reality distortion fielding. The falsehood will tell you it's the one and only. The falsehood may tell you it's the one and only. We are the reality distortion fielding. Yeah, we are the reality distortion fielding. Falsehood will sow doubt, intuition knows things. We are the reality distortion fieldings. We are the reality distortion fielding. We can see what's coming. We are seeing MAGA greed as retraders work to sow harm. Those who would hang on to a proven weapon of destruction, those who would hold on to that device, holding on to not just a gun, but a gun loaded with the bullet that saves the day. Donald Trump told us a lie that there was election fraud against him, when in fact his claims were the fraud we had to fear. And that he called us together saying he would send proof and then didn't do so for 2 months, allowing that gaslight to make us come up with our own excuses for him, but also loading more and more and more tension for why isn't this being resolved? Why aren't you sharing proof if you say it's everywhere? And more people being convinced of the proof by his continuing to repeat the lie. That was the construction, the over time building and fomenting of a weapon of insurrection. And he still holds that weapon today. The findings of the mystery font are that that is a punishable offense. To hold the weapon of falsehood is a punishable offense. Plain and simple. There is no just reason to gaslight people that you have proof of something, the difficult nature of which nearly started civil war. Anyone holding the big lie without the proof that actually changes the game and shows us that we were mistaken, you don't ring that bell again without the proof. Showing the proof is not ringing the bell. Showing proof would be actually solving an issue. But someone who claims to have proof without showing it is committing a crime, a seditious, sabotaging, traitorous crime. And it is time for it to be held accountable. Donald Trump is committing a crime by claiming that there was no insurrection. He is committing a crime by claiming that the 2020 election was stolen. Because having done so and failed to produce proof and thereby creating insurrection, he has tested and proven the effectiveness of that weapon. And we need to apprehend anyone using that weapon. The falsehood loaded with a proof of salvation, that is the weapon of insurrection. If you hold that, you go to find accountability. You find you will have to be accountable. That's where we need to go now. Just like it's not legal to wear a swastika in Germany, it's not legal, it should not be legal in America to claim 2020 was stolen as a member of, someone seeking office. It should not be legal to claim that that is so without offering actual proof. Because that has been a point of terrorism. Anyone who would argue for the right to continue to gin terrorism based on falsehood is standing with terrorism. It's time to stand for freedom and truth and justice in the American way and recognize the weapon of the insurrection for what it is. And that if that weapon is raised and not immediately disabled in front of everyone by providing the proof that breaks that weapon, then the weapon is being used. there would be a way to introduce proof of that. But introducing doubt on that without proof at this point is an act of sabotage. It is an act of MAGA Nazi terrorists. It is an act of someone trying to foster the Nazis of the Heritage Foundation. And those criminals should be in jail. It is the bandwidth of neo-Nazis and Nazi collaborators at the Heritage Foundation still fostering the idea that the election of 2020 was stolen from President Trump. And for anyone to allege that without proof shows they have insurrectionist intent. It should be regarded as criminal. Certainly for someone in office or running for office to claim proof of this and not show it, that is a crime. So says the mystery font. I think anyone who thinks it through would see that this is factually sound. It is a crime to raise an issue that requires proof without proof. It's gaslight to say that that is anything but an attack. Who is the falsehood? The falsehood is donned by anyone holding the weapon of insurrection. And accountability is coming to the falsehood and apprentices of the falsehood. And Donald Trump, Roger Stone, and Stephen Miller remain at large. We are the reality distortion fielding. Who is the falsehood? We are going to find out. We are going to find out together who is fostering a flood of the zone with shit, with lies, with damaging, degrading abuse, with terrorism. Who is flooding the zone of America with shit? The falsehood. The falsehood. The falsehood knows. The falsehood